Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that we're going to talk about today is Trump's appearance in the CNN town hall. It is burning up the internet, but we're going to focus specifically on the Second Amendment portion. There is very rare times when you can get so much information gleaned from a 1-minute clip like we're about to do. Everything will be linked in the description box below, and I need to hear you guys in the comments and send this one out because objectively, there's really great, there's pretty mediocre, and then there's good. There's a lot of stuff that we're about to tear into. And if you are new or you're a returning viewer, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel, and making sure you turn the notification bell on. We need as many of you as we can to get into the fold with us amongst our ranks to spread information and pass the Second Amendment along to the next generation. And thank you so much in advance for your consideration. And the content today is brought to you by SDI. Now, I know a lot of you out there like to upgrade and modify your own guns. And if you're looking to turn a hobby that you love into a career, Sonoran Desert Institute can help. Their online programs cover everything from gunsmithing to ballistics, woodworking and finishes, shooting sports management, and more, plus all the tools and materials are shipped directly to your door. There's never been a better time to turn that hobby into a career, so what are you waiting for? There's a link in the description box below, and thank you so much to SDI for making this content possible. Now, my brothers and sisters, if you guys got that Biden re-election ad either before or after this video, please leave a comment down there and say how much they wasted their money, because there is no place for that type of infringement here. But let's get to the point of the video, the CNN town hall. I'm going to walk you through a few things. The first thing I'm going to do is show you the entire exchange. Then we're going to break it down into 3 different segments, because like I said, there's a lot here. Now, high level, as we go in, this is not a repudiation of Trump. This is not an endorsement of Trump. This is an objective observation of what we're about to see. For example, Trump does have some bad stuff in his history on the 2A. You've got the infringements on the bump stocks, not because of the item, but because of the way that it was done through the ATF. That is executive overreach through fiat from the ATF. That is a bad thing. However, on the other side of the coin, you also have the Supreme Court justices, which brought us the Bruen decision, which is wrecking gun control across the nation since June like a wrecking ball. That's a great thing. And then there's some stuff right in the middle, and that's what we are going to try to discern right now. So, as I mentioned, we're going to keep this as objective as possible. I'm going to show you the whole clip, and then we're going to break it down, because there's a lot here.
Hi, thank you for coming. This is a bit of a pivot, but with gun violence and mass shootings in the news cycle recently, I'm worried that state governments and the federal government are going to act to repress gun rights. Under your administration, you instructed the Department of Justice and the ATF to ban bump stocks. If elected president again, how would you act not only to defend our Second Amendment rights, but to restore rights that have been taken from us, such as, by example, recently the ATF's ruling on the pistol stabilizing braces?
Yeah, as you know, the bump stocks are actually a very unimportant thing. And NRA, I went with them and they said it doesn't mean anything. They're actually, all they do is teach you how to shoot very inaccurately. So we did that. There's been nobody that's protected the Second Amendment, as you know, like I have. I protected it through thick and thin, not easy to do. But we have a very big mental health problem in this country. And again, it's not the gun that pulls the trigger. It's the person that pulls the trigger. And we have to protect our Second Amendment. We have to protect it.
All right, so like I said, that's the clip in its entirety. Now, there's some other pieces to fully understand here, which I'm going to break down. But first, let's analyze that question. I'm going to break down this question because the question itself, this is a very well thought out question. It is focused and rooted in executive overreach through fiat, which is something we hit on this channel a lot because it is unconstitutional. In fact, that's one of the reasons that the Chevron deference case that's coming to the Supreme Court is so important, because that's where they buy a lot of their, or garner a lot of their power to do these infringements from in order to do things like the bump stock ban. But let me hit the question and then we're going to expound upon.
Hi, thank you for coming. This is a bit of a pivot, but with gun violence and mass shootings in the news cycle recently, I'm worried that state governments and the federal government are going to act to repress gun rights. Under your administration, you instructed the Department of Justice and the ATF to ban bump stocks. If elected president again, how would you act not only to defend our Second Amendment rights, but to restore rights that have been taken from us, such as, by example, recently the ATF's ruling on the pistol stabilizing braces?
Fantastic question, and let me tell you why I think that's such a great question. One, it is well rooted in what has actually occurred. Yes, the executive branch, the ATF, has done the pistol brace rule. They've done the ghost gun rule. Yes, Trump did involve the bump stocks through the ATF, and he does have a bad statement and a bad quote that says, take the guns first, ask questions later. That is all bad. However, again, going back to the original point, You can't throw a baby out with the bathwater. Because you have one bad thing over here or two bad things over here does not mean that these four things, the good things, don't matter. That's what I'm trying to hit on. There are shades of gray from a perspective of good versus bad, not in the realm of the Second Amendment. We are steadfast in that. I'm talking about the individual here. Because even Ronald Reagan had a part to do in the gun control throughout his career, but then he became one of the conservative heroes on the side of freedom. So there are things that factor in here that are a little bit beyond, you did this, you're dead to me. Also, you did this, you're my hero. There's a lot of differentiation here. Now let's get into this first question, because this is where, in my opinion, this is not a great answer. Check this out.
Yeah, as you know, the bump stocks are actually a very unimportant thing. And NRA, I went with them and they said it doesn't mean anything. They're actually, all they do is teach you how to shoot very inaccurately.
Okay, so the second part of this clip I'm about to play is along the more of the positive side. This is not a great answer. And the reason that I think this is not a great answer is because you're making it, well, it's a stupid piece of plastic that doesn't really do anything good. So therefore, we can use the overreach of the executive bureaucracies to infringe upon the rights of American citizens, which does lay the groundwork to do more things in the future, such as ghost guns and pistol brace rules and all the things that they are doing through the ATF. Changing definitions, if you will. Again, Supreme Court cases that are coming up and pending and accepted will probably deal with that in the future. But the point is not Trump hates the Second Amendment, Trump loves the Second Amendment. The point is that's not a good answer. You can't say, well, it's an unimportant piece. Well, then you're putting it in the subjective nature of what's important, what's not important. Whether it be the NRA, whether it be Donald Trump, whether it be Julian Assange, whoever it is. That's the point. You have to stay within an objective nature. Now, let's go to this next one, because this part is where he starts to hit the right chords. Check this out.
We did that. There's been nobody that's protected the Second Amendment, as you know, like I have. I've protected it through thick and thin, not easy to do. But we have a very big mental health problem in this country. And again, it's not the gun that pulls the trigger. It's the person that pulls the trigger. And we have to protect our Second Amendment.
Now, this is important. And the reason I saved this for the end is because you can discern two things here. One, he clearly has done some focus group testing to understand that the population on the gun rights side of the argument is focusing on mental health and focusing on the fact that the criminal does the damage, not the gun itself. That's incredibly good. I like that. That's good. Go team. That's solid. The other part is the applause. And it reaffirms that entire point that I just said. If you've got the audience in New Hampshire saying and clapping and applauding the line around the person pulls the trigger, not the gun, and we have a mental health issue in this country, not the gun, that shows you where the population is, and that is extremely positive. So that's what I've got for you guys. I broke this down as objectively as I could. Let me know what you guys think in the comments field below, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.